Hello, creating a scaling policies for Amazon EC2 auto scaling. In this demonstration, we will learn how to create a scaling policies for Amazon EC2 auto scaling. Um, so as we can see, we are already in the AWS Management Console. First, we are going to create and launch an EC2 instance so that we can create the template for our auto scaling. So let's go ahead and enter EC2. In the search field for find services, then select EC2 from the search result and click on it, and this brings us the EC2 dashboard, and then where we can manage and launch our instance that can see here. So we are going to choose launch instance. Click on it, launch instance, and then give the instance a name. I will call it my demo server. My demo server. Okay. And then we are going to select the first Amazon machine image or AMI on the list. Okay, which is Amazon Linux 2023 AMI. And we are going to leave the T2 micro instance select as a default, so we don't change it. And then for the keeper, we select security key that is already set up. VOC walk key. And then we go down, we don't change the default, and we are going to keep the rest of the detail the same things, and then we choose launch instance. So right now we should wait until our instance created. So and then to it, we choose view all instances, and then if we go to instance, we can see that the instance that we just created is in the pending, and we need to make we need a time to set it as available. So we are going to pause, and after that it was available, we back. Okay, our instance is now in a running state. So let's create our auto scaling group. To do that, we select the checkbox next to our instance. Check it, okay, and create checkbox. And go to the action menu here, and then go to instance setting, um, and then after we go to instance setting and then select attach to auto scaling group, and then here in auto scaling group, this bring up a page that prompt me to select the auto scaling group. Because we don't have an existing auto scaling group to attach it to, we are going to create a new. So we simply give it a name. We will call it demonstration ASG V1 and choose Attach. This returns us the list of EC2 instances. There is a message indicating that the scaling group has been attached to my instance. So when we create an auto scaling group, the service Amazon EC2 auto scaling create a launch configuration and associate it with our auto scaling group. This launch configuration is a template that Amazon EC2 auto scaling uses to launch new instances that have the same exact configuration as the instance that we created. So, and now let's look at the auto scaling group itself and create the scaling policies to adjust how we want to use it. Let's select auto scaling group on the EC2 menu, and we might need to refresh the page until it appears. And here we see the auto scaling group that we just created, demonstration ASG-V, and that we just created. When we select it, we can see all of the configuration details down at the bottom. And now we are going to set the desired capacity, the minimum capacity, and the maximum capacity. And to do that, under group details, we choose edit. And we are going to leave the desired capacity at 1, which means that we want a single EC2 instance running inside of our auto scaling group right now. And then we are also going to set the minimum capacity to 1, which is the lowest number of EC2 instances that we want running inside of our auto scaling group. And we are going to set the maximum capacity to 3, which is the greatest number of EC2 instance that we want running inside of the auto scaling group. And then we choose update. Okay, and now we can start adding policies to our auto scaling group. The rule of a scaling policy is to act as automated representative and make decision about adjusting the desired capacity on our behalf. So, on behalf of Amazon EC2. Amazon EC2 auto scaling then respond to that change in desired capacity configuration and adjust it as necessary. So let's create a scaling policy. First, we choose the automatic scaling tab, and then we choose create dynamic scaling policy. Create dynamic scaling policy. We are going to keep the default policy type as target tracking scaling and under scaling policy name. We will call it demo target tracking policy, we are going to use the average CPU utilization as the metric type and leave the target value set to 50. This means that we want to make sure that the average CPU utilization target is 50%. Sorry, excuse me. And let's say the instance needs 0 second to warm up after scaling. This means as instances are added to an auto scaling group, they don't need any additional time to come online and be active participant inside of the auto scaling group. Now choose create. Okay, create and click on create. This return us to the automatic scaling group, and a message tells us that the policy was successfully created. And here we have a target tracking policy that maintaining a desired capacity based on average CPU utilization. And let's go ahead and create another policy. Create a dynamic another policy. This time we are going to create a step scaling policy. Okay, and in the scaling policy name, I wanna name it as a demo step scaling policy. We are going to choose to create a cloud watch alarm. This takes us into the CloudWatch console. We are going to choose select metric and enter demonstration into the search demonstration. And then we are going to choose EC2 by auto scaling group. Okay, and here then scroll down and select the CPU utilization metric. Finally, choose the select metric bottom, and now it's time to specify our metric and condition. We are going to set the condition that will initiate the scaling event. Whenever the average CPU utilization is lower than our threshold of 50% over a period of 1 minute, go to period and change the value to 1 minute. Okay, so leave threshold type as static. Okay, and under whenever CPU utilization is okay, um, and so lower, and in the then enter 50. When we are done with this, select next, and then we are going to remove notification. So then we choose next, that is bottom of the screen, and then here in the left we should give the our alert to and one name to our alarm, and we want to call it scaling alarm, and we are going to choose the next after that. We are prompt one more time to review our scaling. We look them over and accept them. So we will go ahead and choose create alarm. Now we can see the scaling alarm and create listed on the CloudWatch alarms page. Back in the EC2 console, we are going to add the alarm that we created. So let's select the alarm here, CloudWatch alarm, and we are going to remove the instance that the other scaling was, and go take the action and choose remove. Then enter 1. It's going to remove an instance when the average CPU utilization is lower than 50%. And then now we create our scaling policy. So we now have the two scaling policies that we created. The target tracking policy is going to tell EC2 auto scaling and to add EC2 instances when the average CPU utilization is over 50%. The step scaling policy is going to remove EC2 instances when the average CPU utilization is less than 50%. We are always making sure that um so sorry. We are always making sure that we are following uh, following traffic that is coming into the auto scaling group. Let us first test our instance to see auto scaling group. First, we have to connect our EC2 instance, and to do that, we need to copy the public IPv4 address of our instance. So we go back to instances, and here select our instance. I select it and see that the public IPv4 address is listed in the instance summary. And we can see copy it because we are going to need it. And because I'm on a Windows machine, I'm going to need to SSH into our instance using PuTTY. We will pause and come back. After that, we connect to our EC2 instance. So, okay, I opened this PuTTY, and so we are connected to our instance using PuTTY and SSH. That it would be simple using the PuTTY terminal, and we need to install a package for the stress. So okay, sorry. We need install a package for the stress test. So we put the sudo. So the repository we need should already be there. So let's enter sudo yum install stress that y and enter. Okay, after that we enter. So great. Now that we have it, so let's go ahead and configure the stress test utility so that we can see auto scaling in action. We type stress dash dash CPU one Okay. Then we type timeout 330 dash dash timeout, which is 5.5, and we select enter. Now, this utility is going through in raising the CPU utilization for this EC2 instance. After it gets to the max CPU, it starts initiating and sorry. After it gets to the max CPU, um, it starts initiating those alarm that we set. And we are gonna go ahead and let this run for it while it's running. Let's take a look at what going on inside our auto scaling. So we go there, and so let's go back to the EC2 console and navigate to auto scaling group. Then select our auto scaling group and they go to activity. That is here. When we look at the activity history, we see that there is one event which is attaching an existing EC2 instance. That was the first instance that we created. So now we are going to pause and let the stress test finish installing. Then we will back and look at the activity history again. All right, we are back. It's been about 6 minutes since the stress test installed. Let's look at the activity history and see what happened. According to the history, Amazon EC2 Auto Scaling launched two instances. Examining the details, we note that the CPU utilization was above 50% for more than two consecutive. So it adjusts the desired capacity and start adding EC2 instances, as we can see, increasing capacity, increasing. What we think will happen if okay, what we think will happen if we wait um, a bit longer. So what would happen? So we think auto scaling will keep adding more instances. I think. So let's wait and find out what happened. Okay, when we examine the activity history now, its nodes to the EC2 autoscaling terminated to EC2 instances. Okay, why did it do that? After the other alarm was initiated because the CPU utilization was no longer above 50%. So the Amazon EC2 auto scaling started terminating instances to bring it back down to our desired capacity of 1 and our minimum capacity of 1. If the auto-scaling event still occurred, EC2 auto-scaling would have tried to add it. add to EC2 instance, but it wouldn't have been able to because it would have reached the maximum of 3 EC2 instance that we said earlier. Yeah, the reason was that. Okay, this concludes the demonstration of creating a scaling policy for Amazon EC2 auto scaling. Thank you for watching.